Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And this is the prevailing attitude among modern women that money must be paid or exist potentially before they'll even consider dating someone. And I do understand, this can be a short or brief video, but I do understand the sentiment. And I think that unfortunately, most, if not all, women are overlooking something important. First of all, that they're reacting with this expectation to an economic system that forces them and everyone to work at gunpoint. So consider just for a second that it's a reaction, and that there is another model that doesn't require people to do that. That is one where subsidies exist, where basic needs, essential businesses are subsidized, and people wouldn't necessarily die if they didn't work, in theory. Just consider that for a moment. But there's a bigger subject here, a bigger idea connected to this expectation. And that is, if someone is for sale, even by degrees, it's a problem, because what expectation of permanency can there be? And I get that some people aren't looking for a heavy long-term relationship. I get that. And I'm not talking about those people necessarily, but the people who are interested in something meaningful and serious that has the potential to be a lifelong partnership, or, just longer than a fling. So what possibility is there if there's a point in the design at which someone else can just step in with the requirement? Hear me out. So if one of the main requirements, and a deal breaker in fact, is how much money a prospective lover has, a candidate, or suitor as they call them, what's to stop just any random person from showing up? I mean, I get that they would have to meet the other qualifications, whatever they are, but have you heard the expression, if you'll lie for me, as in my defense as a friend, or an agent of mine, then you will lie to me? This is just logic, and it's the same logic, actually. If somebody's going to do something improper in your name, they will do the exact same thing for any reason that is justifiable to them in the moment. Here's the problem, really. If a woman, I'm using women as an example because in contemporary society, it tends to be women more often than not that have this requirement. I don't know if it's a formal requirement among women. It seems like it is, but I could be wrong about that. And surely there are requirements that some men have, but I think it's much less formal, if anything. So what it amounts to is an undermining of dependability, really. If that matters to people, and it should. I think it should matter a little bit. If you don't expect too much, you won't be disappointed. That's another saying. But you have to be able to expect something. You have to be able to expect a little bit out of people in terms of loyalty. And if a major deal is just simply who shows up with more money, are they for auction? I mean, I don't want to be rude about it, and I think that women get a bad rap when it comes to compensatory things surrounding romance. There's a lot of derogatory and disrespectful sayings and stories about women. There's the one that you've probably heard of, that prostitution is the oldest profession, and I don't agree with that. I see no evidence of that, honestly. I think that there are personality types. There are certain people who are born in, and they're natural born, whores, for lack of, I don't mean to be rude, but there are. I think that some women, some people are just that way. That's how they're born. It's what they're made of. I don't think that's everybody. I really don't. I think actually most people, given the opportunity and a good fighting chance to be decent, tend to be decent. I'm in a minority. There are a lot of people who see the worst in people. They look for the worst in people and they expect it. And behold, that's what they get more often than not. But I want to wrap up this video with one last idea, and that is something I call singularity of purpose. Singularity of purpose. And this applies to anything that has a purpose. That's any behavior, any project, a person themselves, if they have a mission that they've adopted or a purpose that they have believed in and gotten behind. Singularity of purpose is the only way that a thing is 100% authentic, that a thing is not diluted, that is not divided, when it is serving one point, one overarching purpose. But what can happen, unfortunately, here's the problem. What can happen is when you divide a purpose, any purpose, even and especially including romance, that is to say, if the purpose of romance becomes divided between love and paying bills, if we're being honest, if you officially or unofficially and actually bring that purpose into the equation before you're willing to meet somebody and ongoing, it ruins it. That's the point. It ruins it. Whether, I mean, I get that there's bills to pay. There's a practical matter at hand. I understand. I'm not confused about that. There's a roof that is needed. There's some expectation of safety and stability and security that is deserved and needed by every woman. There is a quality of life that she deserves, and I'm not unclear about any of this. What I am unclear about is the prerequisite and the assumption that it has to already exist, and that it's a main thing that if and when it shows up, that's the deal. It's just, I'm sorry, it's sometimes, it's a mutual adventure, I would think. It's not about the destination for me. It's more about getting there together, right? I mean, have you heard of family businesses? Do you think that every family business started when some dude with an already successful, prosperous business showed up and you know swooped down and picked up his maiden because he was already there? And I mean, most of them, I think, in the world, they grow it together, and that's the fun of it, right? It's, I mean, hopefully more fun than not. It's experiencing things together is the glue that binds friends and lovers. It's the experience, the mutual shared experience, and almost nothing else. So really, it's a vote of, it comes down to a vote of confidence. I know I said I was going to wrap up, but last idea again. Vote of confidence is huge. It's having optimism and a little bit of faith, I guess. And if you don't trust that person, after you get an impression when you meet somebody. If you meet them a few times and you still don't have confidence that this person can and will pull their weight as needed, maybe it's just not needed yet. But to impose all these prerequisites, these requirements beforehand, well, you might just be shooting yourself in the foot in that case. You don't know people until you spend time with them. I'm 100% sure of this. Even if you think you know someone, you could read a whole book about them. Until you actually observe your dynamic with that person, your personal, interpersonal dynamic with that person, you have no idea what you're capable of, what they're capable of, and what might come out of it. How beautiful it could be. But fortune favors the brave. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.